Hi there. My name is Mr. Ash. I am the Lao Xiaozhang, and this is an English instructional lesson, and we are now on lesson number 93. Okay, and the title of it is Whose Appendix? 谁的盲肠? Now this is history. And this is a very interesting story because it comes from 90 years ago. This is a real story with real people. So we bring the storyteller here, and here she comes, and she's going to tell us the story. Go ahead.
Dr. Kane, a surgeon, lived in the early 20th century. By the time he was 60, he had been practicing surgery for 37 years. During that time, he became especially interested in anesthesia. This is the method doctors use to numb a patient for the operation so the surgeon can perform the operation without the patient experiencing pain. In the early 20th century, only general anesthesia was used, meaning that the patient had to be put to sleep. At the time, ether was the anesthetic of choice, but this drug often produced serious after effects. Patients were sometimes left paralyzed after an operation, and sometimes patients even died. Dr. Kane believed it was possible to operate on patients who only received a local anesthetic, numbing only the area that needed surgery. In that way, the patient wouldn't have any of the after effects that general anesthesia caused. Dr. Kane wanted to prove that this could be done. He soon found a person who needed his appendix removed and who agreed to help him with his experiment. On Tuesday morning, February 15, 1921, the patient was prepared for surgery and rolled into the operating room. Dr. Kane, through the years, had removed more than 4,000 appendixes, so he easily performed the initial incision and clamped the blood vessels while he located the appendix. He then skillfully removed the organ as he had done so many times before, sewed up the wound, and bandaged it. Through it all, the patient experienced only minor pain. He got well quickly and was released from the hospital 2 days later. So Dr. Kane had actually done major surgery with only a local anesthetic, an important step in medical history. But did you know that the surgeon and the patient were the same man? Dr. Kane had actually operated on himself and removed his own appendix.
Now that's an interesting story.
Yes.
I only read this story recently. I don't know where I was, but I've never ever heard that story before. Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, so you're free, and here I go. Dr. Kane. Okay, Dr. Kane, a surgeon, lived in the early 20th century. Dr. Kane, a surgeon, lived in the early 20th century. Okay, that's the 1900s. Okay, later on we will find out that it was 1921. Okay, 90 years ago. By the time he was 60, 到了60岁, he had been practicing surgery. Practice usually means 练习, right? I'm practicing the piano, 练习钢琴等等. Okay, but strange, and I don't know why, they this is the verb that we use in medicine, 医疗. So if you're practicing surgery for 37 years, it doesn't mean that he is 练习 for 37 years. I mean, that would be awful if you had to practice something for 37 years. No, practicing surgery means he was doing surgery for 37 years. During that time, he had become especially interested in anesthesia. Okay, during that time, he became interested in anesthesia. In this case, 这个 anesthesia is 麻醉这个技术. Okay, anesthesia going on. This is the method doctors use to numb. Okay, what does it mean to numb something? 使一个东西麻木. Okay, okay, 麻木. Okay, sometimes do you ever have the situation where you sit on your legs wrong and you stand up and your whole leg is, oh my, no feeling, 麻木了. Okay, your leg is numb. Okay, so the method doctors use to numb a patient for an operation, 动手术, okay, operation, 开刀, okay. So the surgeon can perform the operation. The 外科医生 surgeon can perform the operation, 做这个手术, okay, without the patient experiencing pain. 那个病人不经历痛苦或疼痛. Okay, so that's the reason why we use anesthesia. That's the reason why they use anesthesia. I'm not a doctor. Okay, in the early 20th century, only general anesthesia. You know what general means? General anesthesia means 全身麻醉. 全身麻醉. Okay, general anesthesia. Okay, it simply means that the patient had to be put to sleep. Okay, 他要昏睡. 全身这个昏睡. Okay, moving on. At that time, ether. I don't know, since I've had several operations in my life, 经过应该算是好几次的开刀. Okay, and they used, in the early days, they used ether. Now, what is ether? Okay, ether is 乙醚. I don't know what it is. I just have it written here. It's ether. Okay, that's ether. It's awful smelling stuff. Awful. Okay, at that time, ether was the anesthetic of choice. Okay, what is, we say, it could have been almost any word here. Anesthetic of choice means 麻醉药，大家所选出来的麻醉药. If I say you could say almost anything, something of choice. It's just a way of saying it, people chose that, generally chose that 全身麻醉. Okay, but this drug often produced serious after effects. Okay, this drug often produced, okay, 产生, okay, serious, 严重, after effects. How do you say after effects? 后遗症, 后遗症, after effects. Sometimes results, you could even say, but after effects, 后遗症. The patients were sometimes left paralyzed. Okay, sometimes left. Okay, 结果这个病人就瘫痪。Okay, 瘫痪, paralyzed. You know what paralyzed means? When you cannot move. When you when you cannot move, you are paralyzed. Okay, paralyzed. So the patients were sometimes left paralyzed after 开刀之后, okay? And sometimes patients even died. 有时候那个病人也就去世了. They did not live. They died. Going on. Dr. Kane believed it was possible to operate on patients who had only received a local anesthetic. Now remember, general anesthetic is 全身麻醉. Okay? So, what is a local anesthetic? Okay? Local anesthetic is 局部麻醉. Local, of course we say my local town or local this. 这个是当地的. But in this case, local anesthetic means 局部麻醉. Okay? Just in one little area. They just do it in one little area. Okay? Numbing only the area that needed surgery. Numbing, remember, we already looked at that. To numb, 使它麻木. Only the area needed for surgery. 就是那块. 就是那块. You don't have to numb other areas, just that one area. Okay, going on. In that way, the patient wouldn't have any of the after effects. 没有那些这个后遗症. 没有那些后遗症. Okay, because it doesn't poison the person, actually. That general anesthesia caused. See, general anesthesia, not very safe. So now he wanted to prove that it could be done. Going on, Dr. Kane wanted to prove, in this case, 证明. Okay? He wanted to prove that this could be. 这个方法可以行得通啊. Okay, going on. He soon found, how old is he now? He's 60 years old. Okay? How many years has he been a surgeon? 他给人家开刀已经多少年? 37 years. Now keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now we start. He found a person who needed his appendix removed. 他找到一个人，他的盲肠必须除掉. Okay? So, he found a person who needed his appendix, 盲肠, removed, who agreed, 同意. Okay? He is willing to help him with the experiment. 他愿意做 how we say, what do we say? The white mouse, white what? How do we say that? Anyway, he was willing to be experimented. 他愿意做这个实验品. There's something to be experimented on. He's willing to experiment. Going on Tuesday morning. Now here's the actual date. Tuesday morning, February 15, 1921. Now that's exactly 90 years ago, at least when I am creating this program today. That's 90 years ago. So you can guess when I'm making this program. Almost exactly, a little more than 90 years ago. The patient was prepared. Of course, when you 你要开刀, you need to be prepared. 人家就会帮助你准备, okay? Prepared for the surgery. Okay? So he's prepared for the surgery and rolled into the operating 开刀房, the operating room, but okay, rolled in, of course, because he is on a cart that has wheels, 4 wheels. And so he is rolled in there. Going on. Dr. Kane, through the years, 经过这么多年, Dr. Kane had removed 这个除掉, okay? He had removed what? 切除了 how many? 4,000 appendixes. 已经切除了这个4000多个这个盲肠. So, was he an experienced doctor? Was he an experienced surgeon? Yes. So, he easily performed the initial incision. Okay? So he did. No, again, this is not 表演. Usually perform as 表演. But in this case, it just means he did it. He easily performed the initial, okay, the first cut. Okay, to cut something, 这个切. So he did the initial incision and clamped. What is a clamp? Something that closes down. To clamp something, 夹住那个血管, okay? 夹住那个血管. Okay, so he cut it and 夹住那个血管, blood vessels, while 当时他也是 located. To locate something means he was trying to find it. Find it. Okay? In this case, to locate something is trying to find something. Find the appendix. He then skillfully removed the organ. Organ, 盲肠 is a organ. So he skillfully removed the appendix, the organ, as he had done so many times before. 这像他过去很多次一样, as he had done so many times before. He sewed up the wound meaning the cut. He sewed it up. Okay. Do you know what to sew it up? It simply means 这个缝合这个伤口. Okay. 这个伤口 is a wound. Okay. So 缝合了这个伤口 and put the bandages on it. 敷上纱布. Okay, 纱布 bandage. Do I have any bandages on my hands? Nope. No bandages. But sometimes if I hurt myself, I put a little shabu on my wound, 我的伤口. Okay? Through it all, 经过一切, the patient experienced 经历 only minor pain. Of course, pain is 疼痛. So minor is a little. What's the opposite of minor? Major. Okay? So if he had major pain, then he'd be 很痛苦. But only minor pain, just a little tiny bit of pain. Okay? He got well. 那这个病人 he got well quickly, 很快, and was released from the hospital. To be released from the hospital is 退院. Okay? He was allowed to go home. Okay? 2 days later. Okay? 2 days. It seems to me like it was more than 2 days when I had my appendix removed. It was a whole week. But that's a different story. We'll tell that story some other time. So, Dr. Kane had actually done major, okay? Remember we said minor, major. If it's pain, major pain is 很痛苦. Minor pain is 一点点疼痛. In this case, major surgery and minor surgery, major 大手术. 大手术. Okay? And the opposite would be minor surgery. Okay? Okay? 大手术. Okay? He had done major surgery with only 局部麻醉. Okay? So he had done major surgery and only local anesthetic. This is an important step in medical history. 医学历史上的一个非常重要的一步骤. Okay, a step. Okay, in medical history. Okay, now we come to the punchline. The important thing, okay? Now, did you know? 你晓不晓得？你知道吗？ That the surgeon, 这个外科医生开刀的医生啊 surgeon, and the patient, 的病人 were the same man, 是同一个人。那这个是大手术啊，这个是大手术。So Dr. Kane had actually operated on himself. Dr. Kane, 那位医生是给自己开过刀，给自己开过刀。Okay? And removed his own appendix. 就切除也除掉他自己的盲肠。Okay, so I want to see if we can go back to the picture. Can we go back to the picture? Now, if you go look at the picture, this is Dr. Kane 90 years ago. Now, the picture doesn't look very good, but Dr. Kane is performing his own operation. 正在开刀. Wow, this is 90 years ago. Can you imagine that? This is the first time. This has never been done before. So, maybe we can get Mrs. Ash here. I don't know what to say. Maybe she has to come out here and so on. Your dad is a doctor.
Yes.
Was a doctor.
Was.
Of course, because we're very old, so he already died
That's right.
quite a while ago. Tell me, Did you ever go into an operating room when he was operating on somebody?
This was just outpatient type.
Outpatient. Outpatient simply means that it's not in the hospital. Not in the hospital. Outpatient simply means that it's happening and in the clinic,
诊所.
诊所等等, not in the hospital. So you watched him do that.
Yes.
Okay. But your dad was a plastic surgeon and
Eye, ear, nose, and throat.
耳鼻喉科.
Yes.
So they were small things. Did you ever want to be a doctor?
No.
No. When you see people bleeding, how do you feel?
Well, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. I know
Okay,
that.
so you are 有一点不舒服 but you almost became a nurse.
That's true.
At least you wanted to be. She did really want to be a nurse. But by an accident, not planned, one day she went to the wrong meeting and she ended up being a musician, 音乐家, and she never became a nurse. Too bad.
It was okay, though.
Actually, it's okay because I love her music. Okay? Okay, we better look at how you can write to us. You can write an email to theoldprinciple@gmail.com. 我们也有一个网站 www.theoldprinciple.org. Hope you enjoyed being with us today, and will join us next time for another interesting lesson from the Old Principle. See you later.
Bye.